Hi there. You probably think I'm an idiot for talking about these subjects, but I just thought it might be prudent to say, if you look back into the history of announcement, then you, I guess, can simply conclude that there's a chain of events that has been pre-programmed that is now unfolding underneath your very eyes. China has before warned against these exercises. North Korea has before threatened with a nuclear attack due to military exercises in the oceans around this water. And U.S. marine vessels are now moving towards South Korea, going to populate those waters, while South Korea is announcing attacks on North Korea and North Korea is announcing attacks on South Korea. China cannot really allow that to happen, to have this maritime force to build up around it, because it's like if my face is China, North Korea is this ear, and all these vessels will be underneath me, and the oil is over there, or over there, I mean. It's a very, 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 very grave threat, and it's all been programmed, it's been announced, the doctrine has been set. Of course, these type of announcements and threats and such don't work if you don't follow up. Empty threats are not are the most dangerous things, to quote Mr. Kissinger. Not that he's a very likable source. So there must be a reason why China is aggressive, because if North Korea is aggressive, that means China is aggressive. North Korea would not go it alone, would at least be called back very harshly by China, because it's fully dependent on China. North Korea is more or less a military outpost of China. It doesn't have its own economy, according to some. It doesn't produce anything. So Mr. Zakaria said that on CNN. North Korea doesn't have independence. It is a military base. On the border of it to the south are 10,000 American soldiers. Only one needs to die, and apparently that's enough. It's all symbolic, because it's simply and if you are truly a military strategist and you know that all these things are in place, then you're not going to wait for that one soldier to die. And it's really something that is for the public, maybe, to make it understandable. So two South Korean civilians died, and now South Korea is going to attack North Korea. But of course, in the preceding years, and due to the revaluation of the dong which they have in North Korea, I believe, many people died. Many people died due to the starvation and the cutting off of the country and the cutting off of its economy. Many people have been dying in North Korea. It's just not. It's not like the two civilians in South Korea or anything like a balanced response to the isolation that North Korea has been in, just for its will to be quirky and dangerous. It's not acceptable at all. I'm not saying that, but right now you are sitting. If you're sitting in the U.S. in one of the big cities, you're basically a sitting duck in a world conflict that is now underway. That's something different from a threat. Everybody that talks about TSA at the moment is a moron. There's a better, more important topic. How do you get to safety? That's basically the issue, I think. I'm really not versed enough to know if Europeans are in danger when this starts for real. But I guess we are in grave danger as well, because we don't have the energy supply, we don't have the materials coming in, so we're gonna have the same type of fate. But the US has a submarine on its coast that can fire a ballistic missile and not have been noticed and not have been intercepted. It's been demonstrated a few weeks ago. I don't know if you remember. It's clear as day that this is the war is already on the way. So I guess the bad news is, it's really bad news if you're in a big city, I think. So I guess the good news is that you can get out. Nothing has happened yet. And there's basically also no economical reason, if you look in the future, to stay in the big cities, because they're not going to stay big. They're not going to be supplied with food and energy for other reasons, for the economical reasons. And of course, if you have this conflict underway, which I think is a fact, it's just a fact. You just you check your thermometer, look outside the window if the sun is shining. Look in the South China Sea if there's any American vessels moving towards South Korea, where North Korea earlier has said that it's going to strike, and it has already struck. It's done. It's a done deal. Yeah, and if this leads to mutual annihilation, which it can, it's a ridiculous thing to say for me, but it can. And it's even likely. Wake up. The chances of of China intercepting the U.S. vessels while they're trying to get to South Korea is very big, because it cannot allow being circled by nuclear weapons. It's because all these ships will follow each other, and they will be in a daisy chain around China. That's not an option for China. I think so. So this is alarming. And this should be the only topic of conversation, not a side note of there's a threat of and maybe and is building up, and all these euphemisms that everybody always uses to save the economy, which is exactly the reason why this is happening, because of the economy and the market that everybody is addicted to, not because they want to, but because the exits are closed. We had a big fire in a bar at New Year's Eve a few years back, and it was simply the Christmas greenery catching fire, and of course that burns like hell. So it's all full of resin, and the exits were blocked. So very little people, of course many died, suffocated, and many were burned severely. This place was called Heaven, a bar in Volendam in Holland. So, if you want the GOP to keep blocking your exits, and you want them to execute this strategy, you should really let them be where they are, and just go ahead and remain where you are in your seat at home, and just have this happen in your interest. But don't think that you'll be getting off scot-free. That's not how things work.